Hi, I'm Frank Smith, and this is the new book I've been trying to publicize and uh, to get going. The cover of the book is this diagram, and the diagram of the cover gives an overview of what the book is about. At this point, it's the beginning. In the beginning was the heaven. God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void. Darkness was on the face of the deep or the waters, and the Spirit of God hovered over the waters. That was here. This period of time, inside the purple, is the 7,000-year biblical age of man. And it was not the very beginning. The earth was created then. At this point, these 7 24-hour days are the first week of the 7,000-year millennium, the 7,000-year millennial age of man. It's at this point where Proverbs says, "Where were you when I gathered the morning stars? They sang together in the company of heaven," and so on. And he did this creating. Well, the creating each day is exemplified in the 1,000-year day. This is a physical day, 1 week, and these are 1,000-year days. In 2 Peter 3, which is the basis that we took for this, Peter said, "Hey, I don't want you to be ignorant about this one thing. In the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day." And the word in the Bible for eternity is ages upon ages. Now, between the time God did what the scientists call the Big Bang and Genesis 3:1, were there other ages? Who knows?
Not.
I kind of think there were, but they were so different that we can't comprehend it. The smart guy, Stephen Hawking, the guy that died recently, he was given a lecture on the M3, and in it he said, we live in 4 dimensions. That's the 3 spatial dimensions, height, width, and depth, and time. And those 4 dimensions are surrounded by 7 others. And at the point of the Big Bang, there was 1 more, which makes 12 dimensions. God is that 12th one, and he's the only one that dwells there. And the other dimensions have been shown to exist through this big collider thing that they got over in Europe. Yeah, and anyway, they've named 7 other dimensions. So small that you can't see them, and they're so fast you can't do any of this. But other ages and so on, that really opens up a whole array of things that really challenge our thinking and what goes on. But it provides here a tremendous insight into what this age is all about. The 7 one-day things, at this point, the earth existed and the heavens existed. And when God got them all together on day 1 of that creating of this age, he said, "Light be." And boom, it's sort of like you go into a big empty theater and somebody throws the light switch and all the galaxies lit up, the stars lit up, all that stuff happened, but they were there before. And in the previous time before that, they were not, obviously they weren't lit. Day 2 was the separation of the waters. The waters already existed, but he separated them so they went to oceans, and the waters above came down, the separation of waters. Day 3 of this creation was the dry land and vegetation appeared. Day 4 was the creation of sun, moon, and stars, which creates some real questions. Well, they were created here. What is this all about, that sun, moon, and stars come here?
Put in place?
Yeah, it winds up, when you really dig into it, the moon is illustrated by Solomon's temple, which began right here, where everything was a reflection of what God was doing in undoing what Adam screwed up. And the Jewish people were unfaithful, and God put them out of the land for a while and sent them off to captivity, and that temple was destroyed. Another one was built, which was known as Herod's temple, and the people were crying when it was dedicated because it was not as glorious as Solomon's temple. And this prophet said that house will be greater than the former house, because the God himself will come to that temple. And then the third temple is the stars. Jesus said, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I'll raise it up. So the temple of God today is what? It's us. We are living stones in which God dwells by his Spirit, and we are the temple of God. If there are other temples of God built, they won't be the temple of God. They'll be something else. And we are that temple. It's very clear biblically. That was Hump Day, or Wednesday in our week. This was the creation of fish and birds. Fish and birds are always a symbol of the Gentiles, those of us that aren't Jewish in our roots. And that was day 5. Day 6 was the creation of animals and man, and the last 1,000 years it's been man, until man is like everything. And then the last day of this week creation was the Sabbath, where God rested. And the principle is very clear. If you work, God rests. If you rest, God works. And we are now living in that 1,000-year day, which is the Sabbath, or the rest of God, for God to live. And during this millennium, all these things take place, and that list could go on quite a bit longer. This 7,000-year biblical age, the purposes of it were, God's purposes for this age are to create a family. That's us. We're the family of God. We are sons and daughters of God. His purpose was a place to live. Where does God live? What is God's dwelling place? What are the mansions in John 14? They are the place where God comes and dwells in us. The mansion of God is you, and it's where God lives and will live forever in us. Oh boy, I'm losing my concentration.
Next one, a bride.
Huh?
A bride for his son.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to read upside down. I'm having trouble. And a bride for his son. That's us too. And he had another purpose that you don't hear spoken of much, and that is to sweep evil out of eternity. And evil will be sealed in a lake of fire in time, and sealed so that the evil one is now no longer in these other dimensions and will be locked into this system as it goes down. But this thing here is a timeline, and this week is the first week of existence. This is an ash the fire and like a cigar. That's the present, the future, and this is the past. We're living right here, right now. And these dates, the guy that did the big study years ago was an Archbishop Usher, and he had a chronology. He said creation took place, or this took place, in 4004 BC. Now we know when Jesus was born, it was 4 BC. And all these things just click off. Some of them have a transition period, but some of them are just really fast. Now, during this 1,000-year, it is the 1,000-year reign of Christ on the earth, and that this is a big part of what I'm hoping to do with this, is to start the movement of a new political party. Does Jesus have to return before his reign on earth is inaugurated? And the answer is no. We are his ambassadors. We hear his voice. Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice." And when we do what he says to do, the kingdom of God is coming there. And this is probably enough for this one. Go on Amazon.com. I'll try to get a link to that. Check this out. Buy a book and make sure you write about it. It's very simple. It's very short, and yet it will help open your eyes to all kinds of stuff in this. God bless you. Please turn to Amazon.com, buy it, and recommend it. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Okay.